If you're lacking that feeling of satisfaction and joy and accomplishment in life, today's the day to start creating. No, there's not donut spots on my feet. Dude, that's freaking gold bond. 17% body fat. 60%. 53.9. 4.5. 22. 17% body fat. I don't know if that's right. Alright, let's do it. So let's talk today all about training and little things that you can do that I've done to add into my training as warm-ups that will prevent injury and allow me to train for years to come as I'm getting stronger, more aesthetic, healthier, and the best version of ourselves while just doing these little tiny things that will prevent injury. Yeah, so back on November 1st when I got ran over, hit by a car over at Stanford, I ended up throwing out my shoulder, tearing some ligaments in my rotator cuff, and ended up being a blessing in disguise because I ended up going into a physical therapist, a physical trainer and chiropractor that helped teach me exercises that I needed to do so that I could get back into training my shoulders again and hope to get to 100% without surgery. No, that was the goal. When I say training, I mean sculpting the body, improving the body. Call it bodybuilding, but not just bodybuilding and weight training, but also like just overall body improvement and strength and appearance, like the aesthetic appearance. So when I first got really back into training, and when I mean back into training, when I was 18, 19 years old, playing college baseball, I was really heavily into training, and I got left after that. I continued to do weight training after that heavily as well. But then it fell off, for many, many years. And I maintained an okay appearance, but at times I got really skinny, and then at times I started getting heavy, body fat getting way too high. So when I got really back into training, got motivated, it was by the king, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like many of you guys probably were inspired by not only pumping iron, but watching Arnold's videos on YouTube, because I didn't know anything, I didn't know any better. He inspired me, but I really had no idea what I was doing. No clue. I just kind of went into the gym and I literally remembered some Arnold videos or some stuff I used to do a long time ago, and I just started doing it. And that's a really good start. It's a good habit. But I want to talk today about some fundamental things that I've learned and picked up on, and just wrap with you guys a little bit on how we can improve our training, and especially as we're getting older, to prevent any injuries. You really want to build that body of a lifetime. It takes long-term commitment, but it also takes a little bit of luck and smart training, because if you get injured, you can't train, you can't be fit, you can't be healthy, you can't look good. Lifting heavy is important, but lifting smart and being balanced is so key. So for me, I neglected my rotator cuffs. I didn't know to train my rotator cuffs. I never really thought about it. I went right into shoulder training, and because of this injury, I learned how to train these rotator cuffs, so then I could continue to building my standing press and building my incline press. So let's talk more about that. Check out this new piece of art right here. Oh, I love it. Yeah. So I like to make sure that I'm warm as I come in to train. So for me, it's I like to walk, get in there, get the body moving for about 30 minutes of walking. And so I usually just walk to the gym. So if that's not possible for you, then maybe doing 30 minutes on the bike, or 30 minutes of just walking, getting the body warmed up, getting the body used to moving. Or another really good thing is just doing a 20-minute constant vinyasa flow yoga routine, something I do as well. Something that I never take for granted anymore is shoulder strength, because I'm going to be training on chest, shoulders, and tris my day one. And it's really important for me to make sure that my the actual rotator cuff is getting trained just like the rest of the shoulders. Otherwise it could create an imbalance. Hit by a car, it threw off my left shoulder and it teared some of the tendons, creating like a level 2 tear inside of my left shoulder of all places, my rotator cuff. So I had to go in and get physical therapy, and the physical therapist got me on a routine of training my rotator cuff, which now I'm implementing in my training always before I train shoulders, no matter what. And the way it works is you can use either bands or cables. And the idea is doing an exercise where it's across the body like this, pulling it out. So the outside of the rotator cuff is getting warmed up. And so doing a total of 4 sets of at least 10 to 15 like this, okay, on both arms. And then flipping it over and doing another 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps in an arm wrestling movement. So these are 2 movements that I never did before. But having this injury, it was like required to strengthen my rotator cuff. So think about taking it in and doing this rotator cuff movement, like an arm wrestling move, getting heavier and heavier. I'm telling you, this is a lifesaver. So today I got in there, I warmed up my rotator cuffs with these 2 exercises. I go over and I focus on incline press. I build like a really eye-catching, popping chest, where when you're wearing V-necks or low-cut shirts or tank tops, your chest really pops. Think about what people are gonna see. If this is your goal, they're gonna see the top of your chest. They're not gonna see necessarily the bottom part of your chest. They're gonna see the top of your chest. So from my own experience, and also from guys I've learned with and learned with over the years, including Grego Gallagher and Zyzz. So my first exercise is, after I'm warm, is gonna be the incline barbell press, because I wanna focus on getting stronger when I'm fresh on building that upper chest. And it's gonna build the rest of the chest as well. A lot of guys are doing so many sets and so many reps where they're doing flat bench for 8 sets, and then incline bench for 8 sets, and then decline bench for 8 sets. It's like, dude, I used to do that. That's ridiculous. And by the time you get to incline press, you're exhausted and you have basically nothing left in the tank anyways if you really went hard. That's 24 sets. That's just insane. You don't need to do that on that type of lifting. So getting in there, hitting 3 to 4 heavy sets on incline press with like going as heavy as you can for 4 to 5 reps, then resting a couple minutes, going as heavy as you can for 6 to 8 reps, and then resting a couple more minutes, and then going as heavy as you can for 8 to 10 reps. And if you want to throw one more in there, going 10 reps again as heavy as you can. So 4 total sets, max. Today, after I was done with my incline press, I went over to the squat wrap, which is where I do the standing press. And there's a guy there who I'm waiting for, and I ask him, do you mind if I work in? He's like, yeah. I told him I'm gonna train on standing press. And he says, yeah, I can't do that because my shoulder's banged up. I'm like, really, what's wrong? And he told me he had this, rotator cuff injury. And this is such a common thing for guys to talk about that I meet in the gym, saying their shoulders hurt from a various of reasons. But the rationale of why their shoulders hurt is because their rotator cuff is weak. And so that's why this exercise and training the rotator cuff, doing these movements where you're doing an arm wrestling movement on the bands or the cables and then reversing it, is so essential, because this way the rotator cuff muscles are getting stronger, and then as I'm lifting heavier and heavier on standing press and shoulder exercises, the shoulder is building well-roundedly. I have to give a shout out to my old chiropractor for that one. I shot a video when I went to go work with a chiropractor, and it was his office. I'll put a link to it here, a card. Physical therapist that got me into training on my rotator cuffs. Just a recap, if you want to build that aesthetic chest and shoulders, really pop and cap off for the long term, you have to focus on training that you can continue doing for years, for a lifetime. You're not going to be injured on building these rotator cuffs with these 2 exercises as a warm-up. So just getting them into your warm-up routine, getting the shoulders all loose and warmed up, and then going into the training will be a lifesaver for you as you age. And even if you're only 18, 19, I had shoulder issues even when I was that age. So I'm telling you, it's going to help you tremendously. If you like this video, hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. Put my picture down here. This is Gavin Mehl.